Hi everyone, it's Courtney with GrayLaw TV, and the executive order has been signed. It is in place, and so we are going to talk about absolutely everything that's in it and how it applies to you. As you can see, I'm coming to you again from my house. Those of us who are lucky enough, fortunate enough to be working, most of us are working remotely. We're all staying at home so we can take care of each other and ourselves, and so I hope everyone out there is safe and healthy, and we're going to talk about this executive order. So on Monday, Donald Trump issued a tweet that just sent everyone into a frenzy that he was going to temporarily stop immigration to the United States. I was receiving texts and calls and emails. My phone was just blowing up on Monday night. What's going on? What's happening? People were so understandably freaked out. And so do not think that you were having some crazy emotion. I was having it too, and you know, I'm not in the immigration process, so I can't imagine what it was like for people who were. And so on Tuesday, you know, because halting immigration entirely is illegal, unconstitutional, and by the way, a lot of Donald Trump's friends would lose a lot of their workers that they desperately need. So on Tuesday at the press conference, he started to backtrack already. And so he started to say, well, this won't apply to agricultural workers. This won't apply to healthcare workers. There will be humanitarian exceptions. We're figuring it out. We'll let you know. It'll come out soon, right? And then we heard from his administration, this is only going to apply to people applying for green cards for 60 days. And the executive order has come out, and it applies to even fewer people than that. So let's go through it and let's figure out who it applies to, who it doesn't apply to, and exactly what it does, okay? So it only applies to people who are outside of the United States on today, April 22nd. If you are in the United States on April 22nd, 2020, this does not apply to you, okay? If you're here, it doesn't apply to you. If you're abroad, it may or may not, so let's get to that. It does not apply to citizens. It does not apply to legal permanent residents. It does not apply to people who have a green card. Okay, so if you're in that category, this does not apply to you. It doesn't affect physicians or nurses or other healthcare workers who are coming in to deal with the COVID-19 crisis. That's in any capacity, research, as you know, treating on the front lines, whatever the case is. If it's COVID-19 related, then that does not, and you're a healthcare professional, that does not apply to you. It does not apply, of course, to EB-5 investors. These are the people who invest $500,000 or $1 million in the United States. They've made an exemption for them and they can enter. It does not apply to a huge category, non-immigrants, okay? This only applies to people who are seeking to get or applying for a green card. So if you're coming in on your H-1B, this does not apply to you. If you're coming in on your TN, on your B, etc., this does not apply to you. This is just people applying for a green card. You'll see in the initial paragraph, it talks about immigrants, okay? That's a legal term of art. That means green cards, okay? Everyone who's on the temporary alphabet soup, Bs, F1 students, etc., those are non-immigrants. Those are temporary visitors to the United States, and whether they be work visitors, students, etc., this does not apply to those individuals. This only applies to people applying and seeking to enter with a green card. This does not apply to the spouses of United States citizens. So if you are, you know, abroad and your United States citizen spouse is applying for you, and you know, this does not apply to you. Okay, so this won't affect you at all. Who else? So those who are furthering law enforcement objectives, so that probably applies to the, folks who are, there's certain visas for people who are helping with ongoing investigations. That doesn't apply to those people. It does not apply to members of the United States Armed Forces or their derivative family members. This doesn't apply to special immigrant visa holders. Those are typically people who are victims of domestic violence or religious workers or special immigrant juvenile visas. Those do not apply to those individuals. And it doesn't apply to people who are entering the United States in the national interest. So there's a very large swath of people that this does just not apply to. So who does it apply to? Okay, so you are abroad and you got your labor certification, you filed your I-140, and what we're going to do now is apply at the consulate for your green card, right? So you filled out your packet 3, it's in process. Unfortunately, this would apply to you. Now, they're saying that that'll probably affect between 30 and 50,000 people a month, right? Who apply. All of those people needed to be interviewed, okay, at the consulate in order to get their green card. They're already experiencing delays that we anticipate will take longer than 30, 60 days. Maybe he's doing this because he's anticipating reopening the consulates in the next 30 days. I don't know. But this would just cause delay there, and that's already happening, right? You can't get to your interview and be admitted to the United States. It's just not possible right now with the COVID-19 pandemic. We talked about that in earlier videos, and if you haven't watched all of our videos on the COVID-19 pandemic, there's some really helpful information there regarding unemployment, regarding the stimulus package, loans, etc. So please be sure to watch those. Is it really going to have a great impact on people outside of the United States? If the consulates are reopened, then it might cause a slight delay. But if those consulates aren't reopened, we're experiencing that delay anyway, right? There's nothing in here in the executive order that states that that folks can't apply. I don't see that in here. I mean, maybe that'll become policy, I don't know, but I don't see anything that says they can't apply. It just says they can't be granted and enter, right? I would keep submitting those applications until we hear otherwise. That's what I'm doing. That's what our firm is doing. And maybe we'll get some more guidance on that. But again, this is just for 60 days. And I think most of us will probably be in place for 60 days. Anyhow, I think travel will be difficult. Anyhow, processing and getting interviews will be difficult. Anyhow, so while it isn't great, it is not nearly as scary as a lot of us were anticipating on Monday night. And so that's a major relief to a lot of folks. It's not as encompassing as we thought. If it does affect you, I'm very sorry. A lot of us don't agree with a lot of things that are happening here, but I think in the end, this is going to be more of a political push and pull and talking point on television than it is actually going to affect real lives, other than to scare people to pieces during an already scary time. And so I'm very sorry for that. I received an email from a client who's a school teacher, loveliest person. I've worked with her for 10 years, linking together visas. She met a lovely United States citizen. They fell in love, they got married. They're expecting their first child in the next few months. And this just freaked them out. I bet they were wondering, what they were going to do. Would they have to abandon their lives here and his family and go live in Spain, where she's from? Where is she going to have her baby? What are they going to do with their house? I mean, they were terrified. And it was completely unnecessary because while initially he said that he's going to halt all immigration to the United States, it turned out that he wasn't doing any such thing. Nor is it possible. We have a constitution, and we had founders who contemplated situations like this, where people would want to do things that just weren't good for the people. And so immigration will continue. It will continue to be the thing that makes us great. What makes America wonderful is all the people that come from all corners of this earth, and that we've all come from all corners of this earth, with wonderful ideas and with determination and with moxie, and the founding fathers wanted you here. I want you here. Most Americans want you here, and we'll continue to welcome you with open arms. So in the meantime, stay safe, keep filing those applications, and thanks for watching GrayLaw TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you soon.